So today I want to talk about an excellent little 1975 film called Mrs Amworth. It's based on a short story by E F Benson, who of course also wrote The Room in the Tower, which was the subject of this year's Ghost Tales for Christmas. And it appeared first in print in the Hutchison magazine in 1922. E F Benson was born in 1867 and died in 1940. And he was the son of an Archbishop of Canterbury. He wrote a number of short stories with a spooky bent to them, as well as a myriad of other stuff, and he was a very prolific writer. But this, I think, is one of his finest stories. However, I actually think this is a rare example of a TV production or a short film surpassing the original. As a short story, it's been included in a lot of anthologies. You can get it obviously in collected works of E F Benson. I got my copy from the 5th Fontana book of great horror stories, edited by Mary Danby. Great little series that is. So the film is set in the Sussex village of Maxley. It's a sleepy little village. The TV has updated it from the 1920s and it's probably contemporary to the 1970s, but it's still a sleepy little village. The only real nuisance there is Mrs Amworth driving around somewhat recklessly. She doesn't seem to know left and right and really doesn't seem to worry about other drivers on the road, which is a bit ironic. But yeah, so she's recently arrived at the village, and she's woken it up a little bit. You know, she's very vivacious, she's outgoing, she's friendly, she's full of confidence, and she's started having little parties, little soirees, little bridge evenings, and it's livened the life of Maxley quite some bit. The other inhabitants seem to be of a somewhat leisurely bent, mainly retired and probably not up for much activity until Mrs Amworth comes along.
You've given us all a new lease of life, Mrs Amworth.
Oh, how sweet of you, Major.
It's true, I assure you, this place was half dead before you arrived.
Indeed, you've given us a new spirit.
How lovely.
Mrs Amworth herself is played by Glynis Johns, who is a famous actress who's appeared in a lot of things. She doesn't tend to do too many of the things that we would normally associate with this channel, but she had a long history in TV and film, and she is perfect for this role. And it's so enjoyable watching this. You just feel a bit sad at the end. There is another interesting member of the community who is a former professor, and he's interested in the occult and the dark arts, which he is studying. He's very keen that other people should be more aware of them, but that isn't exactly why he left Cambridge University. The antiquarian Francis Ercombe is played by John Phillips, who gives a very good Angus Scrimm impersonation. It's a really good fun little half-hour film. When we first meet Mrs Amworth, she's humming along to Greensleeves, and yeah, you could tell this is a woman who enjoys life and is going to make things positive for people around her, you might think. Also, she is drawn to the village because her ancestors lived there a long time ago. We see the grave of one of her ancestors, of a lady who died when she was 41. The dead ancestor is described as a girl in some old archive papers that the historian or local antiquarian finds. But, you know, she's 41. We don't know how old Mrs Amworth is. She is 41. She's probably on the matronly side, but she's still very, flirtatious and bubbly and probably very easy to get along with. However, along with Mrs Amworth's arrival, and she's only been there about 2 months, it seems like there's this infestation of gnats, which is making people sick. It's been a hot, dry summer, and this is not something that is pleasant. And the antiquarian finds out something similar happened about 300 years ago, which incidentally was when Mrs Amworth's ancestor died.
There's a mysterious plague here in the 1640s. Here, in this village. Only here. A strange disease of the blood. Witchcraft, they call it.
Now, there's a lot of things which seem unresolved at the end of this. And they're not resolved in the short story either. So there's a lot here to leave you pondering, leave you wondering what was going on. And you're watching it wondering what's going on. You think you've got an idea, you think you've got an angle on it, but there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that would indicate you're probably wrong. And then you might be right. And that's what is so nice about this film. It's not like the usual spooky films where you've got the atmosphere of the dark. This is often carried out in full daylight. We do have some good graveyard scenes. We have some great use of the village scenery, but this feels contemporary. This doesn't feel like it's an old M.R. James story. This doesn't feel like it's something that's been set in the 1920s. It feels like the 1970s. This film was later bracketed with a couple of others and shown on TV in different places as part of a trilogy, but I think it's best appreciated as it was made, as a standalone film, because it's got its own character, it's got its own vibe to it, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a really, really good, enjoyable piece of 70s folk horror. Something very different coming up soon. I hope you'll enjoy it. But until then, take care.